Okay, next item is public hearings, item number 4, proposed 2014-2015 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan presented by Mr. Aaron Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This is the city's annual allocation plan for community development block grant funds. As you know, the city is considered an entitlement city, and as such, we receive an annual award of funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to be used on programs that are directed towards the city's consolidated housing plan, which is a 5-year strategy for promoting affordable housing to our community, as well as the expansion of economic opportunity for low and moderate income families. Before we can go ahead and allocate those funds to recipients, we must produce the annual action plan, which we have before you tonight. As usually happens in this case, we were awarded just over $500,000, and unfortunately we had many requests, totaling 15 requests that totaled upwards of $1.3 million. So unfortunately we can't fund all of the great programs that are out there, but what we did do is have our review committee take a look at the request and rank those based on the priorities in our consolidated housing plan, and the recommendations are before you tonight. I've just shown here, this is attachment 3 in your packet, which is the funding request, and again it totals just under $1.3 million. And then finally our recommendation from the review committee, again based on those priorities of the consolidated plan, to allocate those funds among your administration, which is to fund staff and their work on this program, public services, as well as public programs. So we've included a resolution for your approval tonight, and with that we'll go ahead and submit it to HUD for implementation for the next year.
Okay, any questions before I open it up for a public hearing? Okay. I'll go ahead and open this portion for a public hearing. Anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this item may do so by going to the podium and stating your name. Okay. Seeing that there's no mad rush, I'm going to go ahead and close this public hearing and bring it back to the council for their comments, questions.
Through the mayor?
Yes.
I would move the recommendation.
Okay, I've got a motion.
I'll second that.
I got a second. I just want to make a comment before we do the vote here real quick. One of the questions that we've asked and is looking at this, obviously we have a whole list of these grants from the council. How do we administer this? How do we make sure that the money that's going for is actually being done properly? And I think one of the answers came back is that you have an administrator that makes sure that everything's documented and making sure that the money's there. So it's not just a bunch of checks going out every year where nobody knows what's going on. So all the funds are watched very, very carefully.
Very closely.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just as a point of clarification, I want to ensure, I know that the city clerk sent out a amended sheet, updated numbers, and I want to make sure that the council was moving forward that amended allocation sheet.
I would amend my motion to include the amendment. How's that?
Yeah, pretty good. So we've got a motion and a second to include the amended sheet, which included the amended first and second motion. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is public communication. You're welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on items listed on the agenda when they are called. Public comments on items not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. Comments on controversial items may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group.